thank you a lot for coming with us. Now, tell us, how was your childhood?
Well, I trained multiple times a week. So for me, kickboxing or karate was my perfect outlet. I trained every Tuesday, every Friday, every Saturday, and every Sunday. So 4 times a week I was training. And in the weekends I was competing. So most weekends I would be traveling around Europe to compete. These are some of my best memories of my childhood.
You are from England.
I'm actually from Belgium, but I moved to England 3 years ago. Yeah, in Belgium, where I grew up, the level of kickboxing or karate was not very high. So you had to travel to other countries to compete. So I always have been traveling lots. I've always competed lots around the world, and yeah, I've been very grateful for all the nice places that kickboxing has brought me to.
How did you balance this sport with your personal life?
So in the beginning, when I was still in Belgium, I had a full-time job. And on top of my full-time job, I was working as a police officer. On top of this, I was training. So it was quite hard for me to balance both. But I got up really early in the morning, went for a run, went to the gym, go to work, go to my gym again.
Did you have another work? I mean...
When I was younger, or when I was in Belgium, yes.
Right now, no.
Now I work full-time as a kickboxing coach. I've thought about joining the police in England as well, but at the moment it just makes sense to be more present in my gym.
What motivates you to practice this sport, kickboxing?
So when I first started out, it was mostly for fun. I just wanted to, do something that I enjoyed doing. But then I realized that I was actually quite good at it. And now I just want to keep winning. So my motivation is to win. I
remember that you told me, you said that you start practice this sport when you was 6 years old.
I went into my local sports center and I saw that they were doing kickboxing or more traditional karate. And I thought, that looks fun, so I joined in.
What is your most challenge when you are fighting with other people, and I don't know, that kind of stuff?
I think with the experience that I have, the biggest challenge is the mental game. So I think it's hard sometimes to get mentally in the right frame of mind, but now I'm experienced enough to have mastered this.
You could say that you need to find the knockout, the KO?
The biggest challenge is to try and shut your emotions out. So, when you have a bad day or when you have stuff going on in your personal life, it's very hard sometimes to leave it all on the tatami and forget about it. But the best athletes are the ones that can just focus on the fight and don't care about anything else.
In this situation, for example, when you are in the ring, do you think in someone or just you?
I don't think about my opponent, I think about me. Because what my opponent does can change. I can maybe focus too much on what they do, how they fight. But that way I'm not focused on myself. So the only thing that I can decide, the only thing that I'm in control of is myself.
I got it. Now tell us, what do you think is the most difficult about your body?
I think the most difficult thing to master is timing. So our sport, you can be really strong, you can be really fast, but if you don't have the right timing, it's very, very hard to make the points. Timing is the most important thing.
Talking about the sport like a woman, how do you feel about that?
To be fair, when I started out kickboxing many years ago, 24 years ago, there wasn't that many women yet in the sport, and it was still seen as a boys' sport or a men's sport. But now the sport has evolved quite a lot, and there's a lot of opportunities as a woman to put yourself out there. So times have definitely changed.
Low opportunities.
More opportunities now.
More? Nowadays?
So nowadays, maybe 50-50.
Oh,
50% women, 50% men. But back in the days, it wasn't like this.
Tell me something. Kickboxing is not in the Olympic Games, or yes?
Kickboxing last year got qualified as an Olympic sport. So we got our recognition as an Olympic sport. Unfortunately, every Olympic Games, they have to place the sports into the Olympics, and kickboxing did not get shortlisted for the next Olympics.
Could be there, or yes, no, yes.
I think
yes.
I'm 30 years old now.
Oh,
the next Olympics
yes.
I will be 34 years old. The ones after that, I will be 38 years old.
Oh, I got it. It's
you never know,
kind of...
but I think for me, the next challenge is as a coach, bringing up fighters that could potentially go to the Olympics.
Now, do you have any dream or nowadays with your career, your athlete career?
I think professionally for myself, I've done everything that I want to do in the sport. So my next dream, as I said, is bringing up a team, a strong
like a coach.
team. Yes, as a coach. So I want to give my experience, pass it on to the next generation, and hope that they can fulfill their dreams in the sport as well.
Tell us about when you won your most important, I don't know, medal?
Yeah.
Yes.
So my first senior world championships, well, it wasn't my first, it was the first that I won, was in 2015. I was fighting a really, really strong fighter from Italy. And up until the last round, I was many points down. And my mom, she was coaching me. She said to me, "You really messed that up." I said, "Yeah, I think I really messed it up." But something inside me clicked. And I thought, with the last minute that I have, I'm going to make it count. I took back all the points. We went for an extra round. And this was my first senior world championships that I won. So it's a good memory.
What do you feel when you put your medal around your neck?
Well, when they put the medal around my neck, it was the most incredible feeling because I didn't expect anything. And when it finally happened, when I actually won, it's the best feeling in the world. When you win something, it's a great feeling. But when you win something and you didn't have any expectations, it's the best feeling in the world.
Do you want to tell something to the young people, like follow their dreams or something that you want to say?
Yes. When you're training, make sure that you're always giving it 100%. If you compete and things don't go your way in the beginning, don't give up. Because for me, for many years, things didn't go my way. I lost many, many years before I started winning. And I think sometimes people forget about this aspect. Also, not every day is going to be your best training day. Sometimes you will not feel motivated. Sometimes you will feel like your body aches, you're injured, you're not feeling 100%. But these are the days that you have to push through. If you want to be the best, you have to do different things than everybody else. So yeah, don't give up. And if you really want to be the best, go for it.
Now for women, do you have words that you want to say?
Don't get scared off by a sport that maybe looks like it's a male-dominated sport. If you want to do this sport, it's actually a really friendly environment, and women have a lot of chances now to make it in this sport as well. So, yeah, again, go for it.
Do you have any ritual when you before you start a fight or before you be in the ring?
I don't really have a ritual, but I kind of do everything the same way every competition. So it doesn't matter if I fight early or late. I will be in the sports hall, in the gym, in the sports center, and I will be there watching all the fights because this gets me in the right mindset. I like watching everybody else fight to get some energy from it.
It's like being just like studying your opponent or something like that, isn't it?
Well, normally I won't see my opponent fight yet, but I will see other people fight, and it just brings me in the right mindset. So for me, this is great. After that, maybe an hour before I have to fight, I will warm up, do a stretch, and then when I get on the mat, I'm usually just very focused. I fight best when I'm relaxed, so I make a little joke or I have a laugh, and then I get on the mat and I just do my thing.
Okay, I get it. When you are in this situation, do you think that studying your opponent is important or not? Not at all.
I think knowing what your opponent will do will definitely give you an advantage. in my bubble in Waco, I know most strong people. So I've seen them for many years. So I don't really have to study them anymore. I don't watch their videos anymore. But when I was younger, it definitely gives you an advantage knowing what they will do. The only danger is if you focus too much on what your opponent will do, you forget about what you should be doing. So
yes.
I don't think it's good to focus too much on what they do, but it's definitely an aspect of improving your fighting, yeah.
In this position, how do you manage the pressure or pressure? Like being the best or one of the best kickboxers in the world internationally?
When I was younger and people didn't really know me yet, when I was fighting, it was always fun. There was always a lot of fun. I could only do better than what I expected to do. People didn't expect me to do great things, so I could either lose and this was fine, or I could win and people were like, wow, what's happened, you know? But now everybody expects me to win. So because everybody expects you to win, there is a lot of pressure all the time.
Yes.
People look at the division and they see my name and they say, okay, Evelyn will win it, or this will be the toughest fight. And in the beginning, I found it really hard to handle this. But now I feel like it gives me energy. I need the pressure to perform.
Oh, like, you could say that nowadays is not funny, or as when you were young?
Still fun. I still love what I do, but it's definitely less fun when there's a lot of pressure. It just makes it harder. But for me, making it harder is just a part of the sport. And yeah, I think I need the pressure to perform well.
And what about mental health? I mean, with this pressure or this pressure on you, your mental health, how is it?
I think it's very important as an athlete to not just train physically, but also train mentally. So for me, I listen to podcasts, I read books, everything that can help me maybe find a different way of handling stuff, seeing how other athletes handle things. This is really good for me. But also I think a lot of athletes forget about this part. And if you don't train mentally, then how will you expect to perform your best?
So you never go, you never get collapsed with your mental health.
Don't get me wrong, I still get nervous before I fight sometimes, but I turn these nerves into something positive. So I do still get nervous, but I don't let it overpower me.
But what about this pressure on you? I mean, I know about many athletes that could get down with the pressure. I mean, the Olympics athletes, I think they are pretty involved in mental health, but sometimes they're just down. And I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think it's important to remind myself why I started this sport in the first place, and that is for fun. So if I'm not going to have some fun with it, if I'm not going to, enjoy what I'm doing, then why do it at all? So this is for me a choice. I'm doing it because I want to do it. So yeah, it's good to remind yourself of this, and it takes a little bit of that pressure off.
Between kickboxing and karate, what do you motivate you to just be in kickboxing or focused on kickboxing and not in karate?
So the traditional side of it, I think the karate side is really important. It brings you your basics, it brings you the discipline, but kickboxing is more of the fighting aspect of it, the aggression aspect of it, and I really enjoy this as well.
You prefer more kickboxing than karate, is that?
Yes, but I think karate has brought me my basics. Which is very important too.
Do you think that is the same or technically the same between karate and kickboxing, or not at all?
As I said, I think karate is more of the traditional sides of things.
Traditional?
Yes, more traditional.
What do you mean with that?
It will be more kata, more traditional way of throwing techniques, which might not always be as effective when you're fighting. You can make something look really nice for karate. The way I learned my techniques was very traditional karate, but then I learned very early on, this is not the most effective way of fighting.
Yeah.
So fighting and preparing for just the kickboxing aspect of it is a different side.
I get it. So you technically, katas?
Well, when I was younger, we had to do katas for our gradings, but it's not my thing. I prefer I prefer hitting someone.
I get it. See, yeah. As a kickboxer, sorry. What is the most difficult fight? I mean, literally, the most difficult that you was like, they kick me a lot with a lot of punch or something, and you was like, I can't anymore.
Because we do point fighting, I think you will get hit. Of course, there will be powerful, explosive punches and kicks. But I've never been in a situation where I feel like I really can't continue. I mean, one time I got kicked on my shoulder and my shoulder dislocated.
Oh.
So I physically could not continue. Not because I was in so much pain, but because my shoulder was there. So I could physically not fight anymore.
Yes.
But besides this, there's no, I've never really been hit so hard that I think, okay, I can't do this or I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay, I got it. So you don't get hurt many or a lot. It's just sometimes.
I think I probably get hurt more in training when I'm trying things, when I'm practicing things that I'm not so good at. And then by the time that I do it on a competition, I should be good enough to not get hit as much.
What about medics? They just came and stopped the fight and that's all?
So in WACO, you get 2 minutes of medical time. So if you take a strong punch, they will give you an 8 count. You have to be ready to fight again after this.
Like box?
Yeah. But if you get injured, something different, if you're bleeding, if you twist your ankle, if something like this happens, you have 2 minutes of medical time. If after these 2 minutes you are not ready to fight again, then you are done. Only 2 minutes to make sure that you're ready to go again.
And that thing just happened to you one time?
It's happened to me multiple times where sometimes your nose just wouldn't stop bleeding. You're not allowed to fight if it's pouring down. There's nothing you can do really. So it's happened before.
And now you have any tournament that you will be or no?
So I've got some tournaments coming up. I've got the Bristol Open in England, which is a very strong competition. And there is a really strong challenge there. It's called the 10K challenge. You can win £5,000 for the women, £5,000 for the men. And it's a really, really good competition. I won it last year, so it was a nice payday. So I hope to win it again this year. And then after this, we have the European Championships. The European Championships this year are a little bit different as well because my weight class, mine is 60 kilos, is the selection for the World Games. So next year there are the World Games, which is multidisciplinary as well. Lots of different sports are in these World Games, and it's in China. So if I do good at the European Championships, then I will be going to China next year.
That's pretty. Oh my God, that's cool. Okay, so as a coach, you started your career as a coach or not yet?
Yes, I have started my career as a coach. The team that I'm with in England, I coach them alongside with my husband. We coach them together.
Your husband?
Yes.
Okay, your husband also practiced kickboxing?
Yes, this is how I met my husband actually. So I will give you the story. I was fighting for the Belgian national team and my husband was fighting for the GB national team. And we've been friends for many, many years. So we've known each other from the circuit for many years. Since I was 11, I remember him being there.
Really?
And then in the last few years, we've gotten close, and that's why I decided to move to England. So we coach together, which is a really nice thing that we can do together. We travel to competitions together as well. So yeah, really good.
But he's not in the same competition. I mean, he have another competition, but in the same place.
Yes, so he fights light contact mostly, continuous fighting, no point fight. Well, he does point fighting as well, but mostly continuous fighting. So we travel to the same competitions. We are on the same team.
But he's like is not, you and him never fight.
We train together. In training, we fight each other. But
got it.
in a competition, he is with the men's and his weight class, and I'm with the women's in my weight class.
And what do you think about that? Could be fight with men or not? Definitely no.
No, for competition, I think the physical anatomy of a man is completely different. I'm sure there are men that I can take. I'm sure there are men that I can beat up, no problem. But realistically, this is not how it should be. But in training, we all train together. All the men and all the women in my gym, we train together and we spar together.
Yeah, but in competitions, no, definitely no.
No, I don't think this
Could be a great idea.
No, definitely not.
Okay, I got it. What are the most differences that you could tell us about between karate and kickboxing?
So I think here in America, Latin America, they call karate the more traditional side, and point fighting they call sport karate. In WACO, we call point fighting kickboxing as well, because it's one of the disciplines of our kickboxing. So alongside with low kick, K1, full contact, kick light, light contact, and musical forms, it's one of the aspects of kickboxing.
Talking about your seminary, how was it?
So I've been teaching a few seminars around Mexico City this week.
Just around Mexico?
Yes, around Mexico City.
Mexico City, okay.
So I've done a few different seminars. It's been really good to work with different athletes here and to give them some inspiration, to give them some different ways of training, show them how I train, show them how I do stuff. So yeah, it's been really, really great to work with these people.
For young people or for anybody, for everyone?
For anybody that wants to book a seminar with me can book a seminar with me. And yeah, I just show them exactly what I do, how I train. I give them different ways of doing things. Yeah, I show them maybe new techniques, maybe different ways of throwing existing techniques.
Yes. Your technique, actually.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So when I teach a seminar, I 100% teach them what I do, because I always think people book a seminar with me because they want to learn about me. So I teach them the techniques that I do in a competition. I show them how exactly I do it or why I do it. And yeah, I think I've done some really tough seminars with people in the last few weeks. Few days.
Okay. And how do you feel with the people, with that?
Yes, it's been really nice to meet all these new people as well. They've been really grateful to train with me. And, you know, they've given me a lot of energy, so it makes it very easy for me to put a lot of energy into them as well.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
I think it's a characteristic for athletes. You are so much energetic.
Yes. No, it's been amazing to see that they all want to learn, they want to improve, and they give me the best version of themselves. Yes.
Yeah. So. Thank you a lot, Evelyn. Now, could you sign us the T-shirt with a dedicatory, is that the word?
Yes, definitely.
For Pambo Sports. RUCOS.
RUCOS.
Rucos. Here is not.
Write it for me?
Yeah. Thank you again, Evelyn, for being with us, for accept this interview. I'm pretty glad that you could talk with me.
No problem at all. It's been my pleasure.
Amigos de Pambo Rucos, Pambo Sports, les agradecemos mucho por esta entrevista que nos brindó la increíble atleta Evelyn Neyens. Y nos vemos a la próxima.